Hi there. I thought I'd make some videos about using TNT to analyze phylogenetic data matrices. And in so doing, I'm going to use the command line version of TNT, and I want to show you how to automate your searches. So it's not really using the scripting function that TNT has in it. It's much simpler than that, just using the basic commands in text files. So the data that I'm going to use is in a paper that I'm showing you here on the screen, recently published by my colleague Martin Smith from the University of Durham and I in systematic biology. I also want to point out this paper in cladicics that just came out a few months ago that I'm showing you here on the screen. Again, what I'm going to tell you is actually much more simple than the vast majority of what you see in either one of these papers. But it's a start to help you, if you're interested in this kind of thing, to get you comfortable using scripts in this very powerful phylogenetic software called TNT. So I'm going to start by showing you these. I'm going to highlight the 6 data sets that I'm going to use at least a couple of them in TNT format. And all of these are available via the supplementary data link to this paper that Martin and I published just a few weeks ago. Right, so what I'd like to do now is show you the actual commands that you can save in a very simple text file, send that batch of commands to TNT, and it will iteratively run through whatever it is that you want to do. So I have open here on the right side the full set of commands, and what I want to do is just take them one at a time, and I'm even going to write a new text file just in case it's not crystal clear already. So the first command I want to do is just a log, right? So log full sets dot log, an arbitrary convention that I use, so I have the extension to be able to identify the name of the substance or the content of that text file. And basically what this will do is that all the commands that TNT executes will be recorded to that text file, log full sets.org. The next command is this thing called tax name, followed by an equal sign and then a semicolon. In case you haven't noticed already, all of the TNT commands basically are terminated with a semicolon. This tax name equals will tell TNT to write down taxon names. When you've finished searching for a tree and you've come up, the program finds a tree, it's not going to save it with numbers, it's going to save it with the full names. And personally, as long as you're not doing huge numbers of batch files, because in such a case you can save a lot of memory by using numbers, not full names. But I find just saving them as full names is much easier because I can just look at the text file and I know what animals where, more or less. Okay, and the very first actual search I want to perform is for this data set that if you want you can read about more in the systematic biology paper. It's just called, I've labeled it here, upham-asher.tnt. Right, and the P is short for procedure, and that's the TNT execute command, if you will. It tells TNT, please load this data matrix into memory. So I'm going to retype that P, upham-asher.tnt, sorry, TNT. And then the next command is telling TNT how big of a tree space do you want to have in memory. And it's, if you have a noisy data set, having a large tree space will help you get all the trees that could potentially be useful, could be optimal, right? If you have only a very short tree space, then that's going to be harder. So I'm just going to start out with holding 999 trees, and then this next set of commands, mult equals what you see on the right side there. This is that's the actual search command. It's just a heuristic random addition search. So I'm just going to type mult equals rep, and I'm going to have 10 replicates. This is an absurdly short and incomplete search. For a very simple, small data set, you probably would get the shortest tree, but for most data sets, you probably wouldn't. But we'll come back to that in a moment. And then the next command, which for arbitrary reasons I'm keeping on the same line, is bbreak. That's a command that basically tells the search program to take an optimal tree and then start branch swapping. It's another way to find optimal trees, and the particular kind of branch swapping I want is called TBR. I think that's called tree bisection and reconnection. There are other means to do that, but I'm going to use TBR. And then I have a colon, and then this next command, Nelson, followed by a star and then a semicolon, that just means calculated consensus, and the default is a strict consensus, and then the star means write it to the tree file, to the list of optimal trees, as opposed to printing it out to the to the dialog, which you'll see in a moment, right? And so this is the only, that's, in fact, that there that's highlighted, that's the actual search. The Nelson is the bit that if you were to get more than one optimal tree, the Nelson will take a strict consensus of that, and because of the star, it will add it to the tree file or to the data that will, in the next step, be written to a tree file. Speaking of which, export minus is a command that exports the tree file in a Nexus format, which for other reasons is my personal preference. And then I need to name this. I need to give this file that's saving the optimal trees some kind of name that I'm going to be able to understand later on. And all this is taking this particular data set. I'm including everything in it. As we'll see in a moment, there are options to exclude, say for example, the morphology or the DNA. I can exclude the fossils or living taxa. I'm not doing any of that. So the name that I'm going to choose is UA for Upham Asher, and just full. So everything that's in that data set I want to save. And I'm just going to use the arbitrary suffix .out for this, follow it with a semicolon to end the command, and then the very last command in this first search is just going to be tchoose minus period semicolon, and that just tells TNT after you write these trees to that particular file, UA full.out, erase everything in memory. I don't want any more trees in memory after that. So from the next round, we start from a clean slate. Okay, so here's that text file, that batch file that I just wrote. I saved it and I put it in the same directory as my TNT executable, which is there, and it's in the same directory as the various data files that I want it to actually use. That's all very important. It has to be in the same directory, unless you want to start telling TNT directory paths where its files are located, which at the moment I don't. So I'm just going to type P for procedure and then the name of the file that I just wrote, batch.txt. And there it is. It's searching now, and it's going to go fairly quickly. I only had 10 replicates for this very simple search. And then here in this part of the search, it's doing branch swapping, and it's finished. It's saved. It executed all the commands in that batch file and it saved it. And there are a couple of little things I want to point out here. I've mentioned a few times already that doing a mult equals rep 10 is a very weak search. You can get an idea if that's going to be adequate by looking at this line right here. Best score hit 6 times out of 10 and some replications overflowed. So that 6 times out of 10, that means actually that you hit the optimal tree numerous times. That's actually not bad, and this first data set is actually quite small. So, maybe you would get a tree of 94,175 steps, and after branch swapping, 34 trees of that length were retained. Maybe that would be the optimal tree. We can look at more exhaustive strategies for searching later on. But then let me show you the other things that happened here. It saved these two files. It saved the log file that I told it to, right? And that's just repeating all the information that the command line version is showing you here. So I'll just double click on the log file and there it is. So everything that it did is repeated here and it's saved. So that's good. You can refer to that later on. And then of course the other thing it saved resulted from this export command. That's the actual tree file, and that's what I told it to, UA full.out. There it is, and that represents all the trees, the 34 optimal trees that it told you to, plus a 35th tree, which is the strict consensus of those 34 trees. That results from this command here, Nelson star, Nelson asterisk. Okay, great. Well, that's just one analysis, though. I want to do a whole bunch. And so what I'm going to do now is make this batch file a bit longer. I'm just going to copy more of these um, data files, and I guess I'll tell you exactly what the commands are doing here. So this next analysis, just repeating what I did before, except that I'm adding two commands here. I'm adding a tax code minus fossils, and that is going to exclude the fossils so as just to look at the living taxa in my particular data set. And then I'm also going to exclude the morphological data from that data set, ccmorph. Now, in order for this to work, you have to have in that first data set, upmasher.tnt, the relevant command so that it knows what these two things are, fossils and morph. And I explained that in a previous video. I'll just briefly elaborate on that. Now, here is the file that is actually calling on upmasher. And within that file, I have a few other things that you'll have to look at the previous videos if you want to read more about that. That's all explained before. But what I want to just quickly point out now at the very end of this data file, I've defined that variable, fossils. That's all the taxa from 38 to 49, right? So basically these taxa here. So that A group fossils command knows to delete these 12 different taxa. And then in the case of excluding the morphological characters, I've defined that in an X group command. So again, that's in a previous video if you wanted to learn more about that. I'll put it in the comments to this one. Okay, so getting back then to my set of commands here, it's going to do the same kind of search, this time although excluding fossils and morphology, and it's going to save it to a file that I've, of course, named so as to be able to recognize that later on. So upmasher extant DNA as opposed to the previous one, which was upmasher full. And then I'm going to execute a different matrix. This is one combining the DNA from Upham et al. 2019 with a morphology data set from Huttenlocher et al. That I described in a previous video. And the first search is going to be all of their morphology and all of their DNA and living and fossil taxa. And then the second one is just going to repeat what I did for the Asher data set, namely exclude the fossils and exclude the morphological characters. So let me run all that. So instead of writing batch.txt, I'll just close that. I'll run this data file, this batch file. And just to make things clean, I'm going to delete the two files that I saved in the previous one. Oops, and I have to quit TNT because it's still open. I'll try it again. Yep, so it deleted that. And now I'm going to run this batch file. So I'm going to double click on the TNT icon. And that is the file I want to run. It's just all of this thing here, right? So I'm going to do P for proc, and then batch capital full sets, because TNT is case sensitive, dot text, ended with a semicolon, and there it is. It's going to run, and I'll come back to you in a moment when it's finished running all these analyses. Okay, so TNT has finished the batch file, and let me just show you what it's done here. This is the dialog of the command line version of TNT, and where we left it was way up here somewhere, and it's gone through each of the commands I told it to. It did upmasher again, the full data set. It did upmasher excluding the fossils and excluding the morphology, so extant DNA only. Did the same thing for Upham Huttenlocher, full data set, and then excluding fossils and morphology. And what it wrote here are the files that I'm highlighting now, plus, of course, the log file, right? So let's have a look. So that's the upmasher full out, which we looked at already a moment ago. This is the upmasher with only extant taxa and DNA. So if I click on that and just look at it inside Notepad++, you'll see that it wrote two trees. Now this at first glance might be confusing because once you look in the TNT output or the log file, I guess we may as well do that now. I'm going to use the text file for that. So that was the first analysis with the full data set. And here's the one for Upham, let's see now, from upmasher extant DNA. It tells me it got one tree at 93,086 steps. And in fact, it hit that tree 10 times out of 10 for this very weak search. So probably if you were to do a much more robust search, you'd still get that same tree length. Anyways, so that's what it's telling me. It found one tree, and yet the tree file saved 2. So what's going on there? Well, that's very easy. That is simply a result of the fact that you, or I, had a consensus command in there. So even in the case where it has only one tree, it will take a strict consensus of that tree, which of course is the same tree. So if you were to scroll through this Newick formatted or Newick tree file, you can see that the topology is identical. All of those taxon names and commas and parentheses are in the same place. Okay, and then what the next one was the full data set for the Upham DNA plus Huttenlocher morphology. And that, even just these short little search, that took a while. It took 2 minutes to go through 10 reps, and then it took 12 minutes to do the branch swapping. And among the 10 replicates, it only hit that score, that best score, once out of the 10. So almost certainly this is not going to be the optimal tree. And then branch swapping will help you develop or help you find the other equivalent trees of the same length. So in the first instance, it found just 10 trees after the mult 10, and then after branch swapping, it ended up with 640 trees. And you can find those trees plus the strict consensus in this text file here. Here they are, 640 trees, starting at number 1. You may recall from previous videos that in some circumstances TNT numbers from 0. In any event, here are the 640 trees plus the strict consensus. And you can tell it's a strict consensus just at first glance because there are lots of polytomies in here, more than the completely bifurcating one. So that's a polytomy, for example, multiple taxa within one pair of parentheses. And the last thing I want to show you then is this very end of the log file. You see some parameters. You see some summaries of what the searches actually were, and those result from the very end of the batch file. I had this command, mult : semicolon, and that simply repeats what the values were for this mult search command. So it's telling us that there are 10 random addition sequences, saving up to 10 trees per replicate, swapping trees with TBR, and then keeping only the best trees. And that's, you may need to know that information. At the very last command is log followed by a forward backslash. That just turns off the log file so that you can leave TNT open and you can still be able to move the file around if you want. In the near future, I hope then to be able to tell you about using other programs, in particular R, to extract some of those tree files, some of the files that you see in here, to be able to read that and manipulate those trees in R, which can be a huge help analytically speaking. So thanks for listening.